refused to listen, and there was nothing that I could do. As much as I talked to him, yelled at him, tried to explain to him, educate him, whatever, he was still so stubborn. He was wanting to do things his way. So I said, fine, go on, do it your way. I'll be here when you need me. And he did his things his own way, and he got hurt really bad. And now he's back. And now he listens. And now he understands what I'm trying to tell him. So just because a puppy leaves you, or you have to leave a puppy behind, doesn't mean they're gone forever necessarily. Sometimes miracles happen. Right? No two relationships are alike. I have no basis to identify what your relationship is like with your puppy. I'm not the same person as you. I'm the same person as you. Or you. Or you. The community is so full of misogyny, transphobia, racism today. Puppy and I are on the board of directors for International Leather Bear. It used to be called Mr. International Leather Bear. Not anymore. We had to shut down for a couple of years during the pandemic. We're bringing it back up. It's now just International Leather Bear. We don't care about your gender identity. If you're a bear and you want to run for that title, you can run for that title. That is so critical today for event owners and event coordinators to understand that.
One of the things that for International Leather Bear and for the puppy community that I insist on in the events that I'm part of the control of is I don't care what color you are, what creed you are, where you came from, what pup you are. If you are a puppy, then you're okay.
And we don't
we have a place for you.
And we don't use the word we don't see color or sexual identity. Yes, we do. We see it. We acknowledge it. We embrace it.
I accept
because you have to.
Everyone. And I want everybody in my organization to accept everyone. By the way, I'm the president of Leather Bear International.
Right. So, you know, I got two puppies to be very proud of. He used to be an intelligence officer in the Navy, just got out and is working his way through culinary school to become a baker. Ooh. And damn, I'm glad he doesn't bake much at the house, because I would not be able to fit into any of my clothes now. Okay? And yes, water is important to the handler too, because I don't know if you see my head sweating just from wearing that. Holy shit, I'm hot right now. Okay.
It's not even June.
Faux pas. And then we're going to have the barking lot when we're finished with this. You want water? So I got this as a swag from work. It's a great little cooler. Okay. Faux pas. I'm sorry? So, yes, my puppy drinks Capri Suns. Can't drink sodas because of the carbonation. So the only thing he really has to drink is basically water or Capri Suns. Some of the flavored water he can't drink because he's allergic to some of the ingredients in it. Gear does not the puppy make. I don't care if a puppy doesn't have a hood. I don't care if a puppy doesn't have paws. I don't care if a puppy doesn't have whatever. Puppy is a headspace. Puppy is a lifestyle. It's one of the biggest mistakes I hear in the community all the time. Oh, you're not a puppy because you don't have a hood. Wrong. Right? I think puppy agrees with me. Puppy is all inclusive. We were just talking about that. It is all inclusive. Doesn't matter gender identity, color, race, creed, what language you speak, how tall you are, how short you are, how fat you are, how skinny you are. It doesn't matter. And that also goes for cats. So I just got a surprise. I thought he might be coming. This is my kitty from San Antonio. Well, you come over here.
You're the one of the very few people I listen to.
All right.
I wish she's a cat.
Over here.
I'll behave.
For those of you that don't know, this is Cat Artemis. Very big figure in the San Antonio leather community.
Enough about my weight.
What happens if I like your weight? Gatekeepers. This goes back to that whole gear and all that kind of stuff. Gatekeepers, get rid of them. We don't need them. We don't need gatekeepers into the puppy community. We should be... I have a friend that got introduced from Menswear, because by the way, I'm a puppy too. From Menswear, there's one man on the face of this planet that earned my submission. And one
Hello,
only.
man.
And trust me, I've known people in the community that are sitting here that a lot of people like, oh man, I wish I was his boy or his puppy. And it's like, no, no. One man that earned that. And we've been together about 7-8 years now. He's in New York, I'm in Texas. We visit each other at least once or twice a year, except during the pandemic. Although we were able to go to a vacation in Galveston last year. So that was really nice. But gatekeepers, yeah, no. Don't be a gatekeeper. We should be
Gatekeepers
reaching
aren't
out.
allowed.
But through my serve, I met a puppy here in Austin who is just stepping out into puppy play. And tonight, and I wish I could be at the bar, but I got to get back to San Antonio. Tonight is going to be his first night to wear his puppy hood at the Iron Bear. I'm so fucking proud and excited for him. And that's how every handler and every puppy should be when they meet a potential puppy or handler. Supportive. Willing to share your knowledge. Willing to share your experience. Showing people that the puppy community is a loving, welcoming, exclusive space. And it's safe. Respect for others around you. I had to drill some of that stuff into you. Get.
Cats are very hard to teach. They are.
I do not back down from a challenge. You give me a challenge, you challenge me, I will do everything within my power to my last breath to beat that challenge. My brother Hamish over there knows that, and he plays that against me all the time.
I do.
And he does a damn good job at it too, I'm just going to let you know.
I mean, you haven't beaten me yet.
I've beaten you a couple of times. You have given that.
If you did beat me, I chose to let you win.
Still, end result. End result.
This is what I deal with every day. It's not all about sex.
No.
It's not about sex, but it's not all about sex. You can be in a handler-puppy relationship and never have sex, and that's okay.
But it isn't about forced sex.
That's definitely not about forced sex.
Consent.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's about consent.
This man right here can write the Bible on consent. Okay?
I teach BDSM 101 in San Antonio. In fact, I have to leave and go back and teach that one tonight too. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm very busy as a teacher down in San
I'm
Antonio.
so proud of from where he was to where he is now. It is literally dimensions different from where he was to where he is.
I still want to click my nails in Apollo's ears though.
Well, you haven't seen Apollo in a long time.
I did the other day.
Oh, that's right. You
That's
and
right.
him had a discussion, and
We
it's
had a
like,
long brother to brother
yeah,
talk.
for hours.
Hours.
If I ever catch anybody touching a puppy's tail, whether it is a show tail or it is a plug tail or any other kind of tail, I will break your arm. You do not touch a puppy's tail without consent. Have you ever had a butt plug ripped out of your ass?
It's not, doesn't feel good.
I
guys.
have seen
I
that
know.
happen in the middle of bars.
Oh.
I have seen that happen. And yes, I almost got thrown out of the bar because I was getting ready to kill the guy. These things, if you're a top and you've never bottomed, you have no idea what having one of these ripped out of your ass feels like.
Let alone preparing to put it in the first place.
And it's a lot of work. You have to clean out and all this kind of stuff. But the biggest thing is, it is one of the most ultimate signs of disrespect for a puppy. You are touching something that is central to their identity.
Just like touching a master's cover, just as bad.
Right. I loved walking with him through Kroger's while he was playing this. The looks that we got, and he was dressed in one of, you were dressed in one of your tight, you had some of your tights on and everything. So it's like there was nothing left to the imagination except you couldn't actually see it, but you could see it, right?
Junior's not small.
And then he had this, and the looks that he got, and I deliberately stayed behind just so that I could watch people, because I love to watch people. And the looks were glorious.
The reactions are always fabulous.
And guess what? Puppies love you.
You did. I know you did.
Puppies are not play toys. Puppies are not play toys. They are not something that you can just go to Walmart and buy something and play with it and break it and throw it away. Puppies have feelings. Puppies have emotions.
Living creatures.
Puppies are living, breathing creatures. And they need to be served with respect. I still see your hands have gotten bigger. I don't know how that's possible, but I still see your hands have gotten bigger. So, that's what I wanted to talk about. That's what I wanted to share with you. So let's get to the barking a lot. Let's let you guys talk. What questions do you have? What are some things that you want to say? This is a judgment-free zone, by the way. There are no wrong questions. There are no humiliating questions. There are no stupid questions. There are just questions that are on somebody's mind. And that question could be on plenty of other people's minds.
Question over there.
So, comments, questions. What do you people want to talk about?
Yeah, so one question that I have you ever been to an event or anywhere, for example, that your puppies are there, but at the same time, your sort of handler is there as well? How do you work that dynamic?
Very interestingly. it actually,
That actually happens to me more frequently
it
than
does.
it does to him.
It does.
Because I'll go with my puppies, and then he'll show up, and they're my sub, but not really subs, because I don't consider puppies as subs. They're just part of my pack. They're my family, right? And when he comes, then it's,
And I have to
who
sit
do I
down.
play with?
So, as a
Decisions,
handler,
decisions.
as a handler, you have to read the room, right? You have to give him some time, but he needs time with his puppies. So you have to be respectful of that. When my sir is there,
It's
he
interesting.
he wants me to go play because he enjoys seeing me play. He enjoys seeing me be puppy. And in fact, I got a little bit of hot water this week with him because I forgot to tell him that I was teaching this class. Now, please understand. So little history. I work for AT&T. Worked for them for almost 30 years now. And what I do is I test in my lab in San Antonio all of our internet products. I'm one of the people that launched our new multi-gig service, with 5 gigabit of speed and all that sort of crap, right? For the past 3 years, I've been working 70, 80 hours a week. Okay? So this class came up. Atlas put this class together, and thank you, puppy. Huge respect out to you for that.
You too.
Asked me to do it, and there was no question in my mind. I didn't even question it for 2 seconds. It was like, yes, I'll do it.
Actually,
And I forgot to tell him about it, so he calls me up. What is this class that you're teaching, and why did I have to find it out on Facebook?
somebody's going to
And
get us back.
what was his reasoning why he was upset?
You're supposed to be communicating with him.
No, he wanted to be proud of me. He wanted to know that I was doing something, giving something back to the community. He wanted to congratulate me. And yesterday he called me and he said, Puppy, I hope the class goes really well. And I hope you have a good time. And I will tell you, I'm tearing up right now about that because that's the way a handler-pup relationship should be. So when you're in a situation where your puppy's puppies or his friends or whoever are there that he wants to go play with, and you're at the bar as the handler, that's part of your relationship. That's part of how you build your relationship. So one, you should have enough trust for him to go and play, but keep an eye out on him so that nobody does anything, right? And enjoy the moment of watching your puppy play. Because I tell you what, I love just to watch these two play. Nothing gives me greater joy than to watch that. And it's the same thing with my sir. Nothing gives him greater joy than to watch that. So it's situational. If you know that there are puppies that out there that are not, you okay, puppy?
I have a consult.
Okay. Happens to me too, except I do a hic burp.
Oh,
Yeah, and those get really loud, and he will look at me, and he will look at me like, did you just die or something? So yeah, I understand.
I've never heard of it until he did it.
Yeah. So it depends on your dynamic and how you build that relationship together with your puppy, right? Other questions? Let me ask you this: did that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
So just making sure, I know you gave us some preferable choices for attire, but there's no real dress code. There's
No, honey. You want to
No.
go naked? Go naked. It doesn't matter.
Legal
Okay?
Yeah. So be careful that you're not going to make the bar lose their liquor license.
I understand that the
But you
clothing
wear
choices-
what you want that makes you feel like puppy.
For example, a private party or say a dungeon, that's a private thing. You can go completely naked in some of those places that are private party or private residence. Be you. But if you have a restriction, like you have to have the back covered with an inch of fabric, like down in San Antonio, which absolutely sucks, then you have to follow at least those basic rules. And then from there, your fabric choices, color choices, style choices is what makes you you.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
that too.
So your basic question, despite the horniness of this puppy right here, right, is again, you're a puppy. You have a picture of that puppy. You wear what you want to wear that makes you feel like your puppy.
It's not horniness. I'm a naturist. I'm most comfortable as a pup when I'm wearing nothing.
I'm sure you've probably heard that excuse too, right? As a naturist, yeah.
And that's also for handler side too.
Right,
That's
the
for
handler
the
side
handler
too.
side too.
Yeah.
You're
I
not-
normally, I will pick my clothes though based on the event,
Yeah.
so that, I mean, so
He dresses
I
for the
was gonna
event,
wear my leather
for what?
kilt here today, but I said, you know what? That would be great if we were gonna go to a leather bar or something like that, right? But if we're just talking about every day-to-day puppy handler, these shorts represent that better.
And to be very honest with you, if he'd worn his kilt, you'd have got flashed.
Which would have been a nice thing, actually.
No, you would have gotten flash because it's unavoidable. It's just
Because puppies,
sitting down and everything, it's just unavoidable that you get flash.
There's times I've gone and I'm wearing, a kilt and a vest and the hat and all that stuff. There's other times I've shown up in a black Sentai suit with a chain harness over me. And for me, putting in the eyes, to have the little slanted eyes, which scares the shit out of everybody. But especially when I start getting moshing too, they have to remind me, don't bring your claws because you hurt people and all that stuff.
Yeah.
he has to be.
And
has to be-
another
has to
thing,
be not
just
hurting somebody.
something else as a handler to be aware of. This pup, very powerful pup from a musculature perspective, right? Not all pups are as strong as him. There are pups that are stronger than him, but there are also pups that are weaker, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean they don't have the musculature or the physical power to push somebody like him off.
So like he's a whiskey, they're a whippet.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much.
But
Right.
knowing
For those of you that
and
don't know what a
using it
whippet is,
appropriately.
it's actually it's a very beautiful dog. I have a friend that raises them
run fast.
in England. He raises
Pocket-sized
whippets.
greyhounds.
But yeah, they're a pocket-sized greyhound. Greyhounds are already skinny, but imagine something even smaller and skinnier than that,
Anorexic.
right? So you have to watch your puppy to make sure that he doesn't hurt or they don't hurt somebody. God, I'm sorry. I'm going to keep apologizing to you for doing that. I'm sorry.
So one of the things about that is when you're in headspace, and your headspace is one of those places that once I'm there, I don't realize that the other puppies I'm sniffing and playing with may be smaller.
Well, he goes into a really deep headspace that he becomes a puppy. He becomes a dog, right? So did that answer?
It did. And when it comes to the headspace, even in a handler's position, you're still going to be deep in that headspace.
Right.
So you're still going to like carry it out, even if it's not in an
Exactly.
animal setting.
Exactly.
His job at that point is he has to actually know when I'm there. He has to watch me a little closer because I will hurt people unintentionally.
Right.
And
He
I'm-
just bowls them over. This one cracked my ribs before, by the
I had
way.
to pee, I told you this.
I ran up to me and cracked my ribs. Yes, sir.
I had an add-on and a question, which the add-on is like, I love my hood to death, but it like makes me non-verbal, which is good in some situations, but not very good for other, and it also just rubs my skin the wrong way. And so very often these days, and these pups know I will go out to pup night, and I won't wear my hood the entire night, but that I'm still full-on puppy mode the entire time.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It's
Absolutely.
not what you're wearing.
And it shouldn't
It's here.
matter
and it's
that you
here.
don't have your hood on, right? You're still a puppy.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's your question?
How do you, speaking of pack dynamics, how do you deal with like inter-pack dynamics between multiple different puppies?
There will be an alpha.
So,
What was the question? I'm sorry.
Pack dynamics.
Interpack dynamics.
Okay.
yeah,
And
so,
being, from a
so
handler's perspective.
okay, so if you're, are we talking about just a single pack, or talking about multiple packs interacting with each other? Or both? Okay, if you're in a single pack, so if you have a pack of puppies that there is the handler. Generally speaking, but not always, there's going to be an alpha. And then you will have betas and you'll have omegas, right? So there will be a hierarchical structure
And then you have
in there.
cats.
And cats, we
Not
don't give a
always.
shit about the hierarchy. We just do whatever.
No, I mean,
That's why I still say that when a bunch of cats get together, instead of calling crows a murder, it should have been when a bunch of cats
Yeah.
together. That should be
We
called
are.
a murder.
We
But-
get pissed, we're
but-
not nice.
So there's, again, that dynamic gets built up over time. It's not instant. So as you start to add more pups into that pack, right, those dynamics shift, they change. That person that was the alpha may have found that this new pup that came in, they want to be beta to that alpha. And that changes the entire structure. When you start talking about inter pack dynamics, it's kind of the same thing. You're going to have alphas in each pack. And if this alpha decides that he wants to try to control over here, he's going to come up against this alpha. And it's not going to be pretty.
well, this is a place where a handler can actually step in.
Right.
This is the place where the handler does step in, and both handlers should. Because at that point, you have two packs, and the handlers are in charge of the packs, not the pups.
Right.
It's, one thing I caution handlers about is do not get more pups than you can handle.
Don't become a collector.
Because
Don't become a collector.
No, that
right?
goes for pups or boys or any other kind of
any kind of a
relationship.
situation where it is a dom sub power exchange, right?
super important.
Do not overestimate your abilities as a dom, if you will, to be able to handle the number of subs that you're trying to collect. Because here's what's going to happen: you're going to get hurt. Your reputation is going to get just run through the shit in the community. Your pups are all going to leave you, and you will be alone. In the meantime, you will have hurt and angered the pups that were under you, right?
But you promised
And
to
they
care
may leave the community. They may no longer want to be pup. There just all sorts of bad things can happen
It just hurts the
when you
community.
start to become a collector.
It hurts the community in general when you do
Right.
things like that. It just, and either recuperating from that or trying to damage and control something that is so much work. Been there,
Yeah.
had to do the damage control
and
and
learn
fix
to
it.
read red flags.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to acknowledge a red flag. There's so many people that are afraid to acknowledge a red flag, especially if that person is very sexually attractive, right? A lot of people will ignore red flags, and that's something that you have to be very careful with. Trust your instincts. But yes, the handlers should be stepping in when more than one pack is involved. And the handler has to step in as well, sometimes with that alpha, beta, omega situation. Right?
Arguments
I have
happen.
a friend right now that is, him and his pack are undergoing that dynamic change at the moment. And fortunately it's working out for them, but there were a few moments there that it got very ugly. So it is a pack is a living, breathing organism. It's going to change, the dynamics are going to change. And it's something that the handler does have to keep a very close eye on.
I have a new packmate, and I have not really gotten a chance to meet him.
No, because we live so far away from each other.
So one of these days, we're gonna have to get to know each other.
Right.
And it's gonna be his job, when we get to know each other, it's gonna be his job to sit down with us and have conversation and open the door.
Yep.
Because I love the fact I have a packmate. I just haven't had a chance.
Right,
to
you had a
meet
new
him.
brother,
I got a
right?
new brother. And puppies,
And he loves being in a family. He loves having a family.
That's a special strong word for us in a lot of things. Families, very strong word. It means a lot.
Right.
Family or even the word community, both very strong words.
And they're something that personally I'm extremely protective of. I'm very protective of my family, I'm very protective of my community, be it the pup community, the leather community, and several other kink communities that I'm involved with. I'm very protective of them. And I want to see everybody happy. And just, you know, get along with each other. Why can't we just love each other, right? All right, other questions, other comments?
I think being prepared for something that's unexpected is important as a handler.
Absolutely.
One of my favorite moments, and probably the scariest moment, is we were at a conference and there's a giant pup mosh, and then some motherfucker walks in a squirrel suit.
Oh Lord!
Oh no.
Like, you just see all the daddy handlers like, oh. And then-
All the pups are probably like, "Ooh, squirrel!"
and squirrel suit like crowd surfs into the pup mosh.
Oh no.
Absolute
Oh my
shit
God.
lost by everyone.
Oh
So,
no.
yeah, so be prepared.
It's happened before when I've dressed up in the full cat gear, and yeah, it's happened before.
So your three primary, and mind you, this is from psychology books, okay? So take this with a grain of salt. The three primary animal role plays that you have are puppy, kitty, pony. Okay? I know otters. I know a squirrel. Not that. I hope it wasn't that one. I know a squirrel because he doesn't have a squirrel suit.
There's
So
even
I
a
know that.
platypus somewhere. Too.
There's a platypus
I've met a
somewhere.
chicken.
I know some dragons.
Chicken, dragons.
Dragons.
Funny.
Yeah. So that's why animal role play is a little bit more of a liberating and an inclusive term.
Don't get me started on species. I'm in that Venn diagram overlap of pup and furry, so yeah, it gets weird the further down that hole you get. I'm a sharktopus for fuck's sake.
Right. I go to furry conventions. I love to go to Further Confusion in California.
I've only been to TFF so far because I am poor.
Oh, if you
just at
ever
TFF
get the opportunity, go to Further Confusion. You will. This is how busy this place gets. The hotel that it's held in has 2 elevators for the entire hotel, and there's normally a half-hour line at the elevator to get to your. So people will walk the stairs and stuff like that. Imagine trying to walk the stairs in a fully articulating dragon fursuit.
Oh my God. That's a lot of work.
Okay? Yeah. They generally undress downstairs and then just kind of carry their gear up. But yeah, furry conventions. Oh man, as a puppy, I was so excited to go to the furry convention and I had so much fun.
Yeah, don't sneak up on someone in fursuit. Mine, like, I had tentacles for hair, and to keep them down, there are plastic beads at the end you normally use for like a beanbag toy.
Right.
If you surprise me and I turn my head, you're getting bitch slapped by 20 tentacles. It happened twice at TFF.
Puppy knocked over the lube over there earlier with his tail. So fortunately, it was in plastic bottles and not glass bottles, right? So yeah, it's. I mean, there are things that you just have to watch for. Absolutely. Okay. Any other questions or insights or anything that anybody wants to add?
This is more of a comment.